Hello, friends. Today's episode is brought to you by From Within Records. Warren's Condensing Flesh is out now. If you have not had a chance to listen to that record, please hit pause, go boot up your Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Bandcamp, whatever, and stream that record. I love Warren. I love Wilkes-Barre hardcore. Great record. Also, September 22nd, Choice to Make, their new album, Nature of Morality, will be releasing, which, in my opinion, is so good. I love Choice to Make, and I'm so happy they're coming back with a strong record. If you haven't had a chance to check out their new single, No Coming Back, once again, please hit pause, go boot up your Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, whatever, and go stream the new single from Choice to Make. Go pre-order a record. It's awesome. I love Choice to Make, and I'm so happy they're coming back with something great. If you're not following From Within Records on social media, please boot up your Twitter, your Instagram, click that follow button to stay up to date on all the current news. And like I always say, please support From Within Records because they support us. Also, if you're looking for high quality merch for your band, for your business, please hit up my friends over at Good Fortune Printing. You can follow them on Instagram at Good Fortune Printing, or you can get in contact with them through email, contact@goodfortuneprinting.com. You can thank me later. Before we get into the episode today, great news coming out of the weekly camp. A ton of great news. They announced a comeback in October, which I'm over the moon about. And they just surprised us more recently with a new single coming out in just a few days, which is amazing. For someone like me, the number one weekly fan in the world, I cannot wait to hear new material from my favorite K-pop group. But besides all that, today we had to track down our good friend Tyler Short. Secret Invasion has wrapped up. The verdict is mixed. But it was an interesting series, but I was just more happy to sit down and talk with Tyler again, because Tyler's awesome. I love talking to Tyler. So these podcasts are some of my favorite things to do, but we break down our thoughts on Secret Invasion, and it's not too negative, right? We just talk about it, things we like, things we didn't like. But the future of the MCU, it's up in the air. Who knows where we're headed next? But it was always fun to be able to sit down with Tyler and just talk about this crazy universe that's going on. So I hope all of you at this point have had a chance to watch it and form your own opinion. But it was, like I said, it was really fun to talk to Tyler about Secret Invasion. Also, we touch on hardcore per usual. We talk about what his band's got going on, the label, all that. It was fun. We even get into some paranormal talk, which I didn't think we'd get to, but it was really amazing. I love Tyler. I hope all of you love him as much as I do. But please, if you haven't had a chance to watch Secret Invasion, hit pause, go boot up your Disney Plus, watch Secret Invasion, and then come back here and listen to Tyler and I give our thoughts. So please, strap in, enjoy this conversation. Without further ado, welcome Tyler Short to the show. All right, and we're recording. Welcome back to the podcast, Tyler Short.
What's up, man?
I'm looking at the calendar, and we don't have many of these left for the year, because here we are about to talk about Secret Invasion, and all that's left this year is the Marvels, or excuse me, let me go in order. Loki on Disney Plus, and then we got to go to the theater to watch the Marvels.
Is that all that's left for Marvel this year?
Yeah, for this year.
That's cool. I think I've reached the point you were at a few movies ago. I'm burned.
You're burnt. Okay, see, that's so
I'm
funny
burnt.
because obviously, like, there's been this ongoing thing of like, hey, when's Jamie gonna finish Miss Marvel? When's Jamie gonna finish She-Hulk? And I've done that since the last time we recorded a podcast, and I felt like reinvigorated. I was like, okay, cool. I guess
Those shows were fun.
yeah. So I was like, damn. I guess I just got in my own head and got lazy because I hate, like, sometimes when I get caught up with certain things, I'll get comfortable and not take it serious. So then it'll just finish, like, and I won't be there with it. So, like I said, since the last time we did this, I finished those and I was ready. I'm like, cool, here we go. Secret Invasion. There's only going up from where we were last time. So I was like, all right, this is going to be good. And, here we are. This series is over. I hope everyone who's listening to this has had time to finish it. And I walk away just kind of confused. Like, I don't feel like the universe has gotten worse, but I don't feel like it's gotten any better, if that makes sense.
I think I'm like, this is a top 5 disappointment.
Okay.
For Marvel for me.
Yeah, no, I can agree.
It might be top 2. This might be number 2.
Number 2, okay. I'm assuming Eternals number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing's gonna push that one out.
Okay. Yeah, when I think of the Skrulls, right? I think of going back to like the original Super Skrull, Kl'rt, and how powerful he was and the kind of impact that he had. And I was like, okay, maybe like this is the perfect segue to where they can finally like properly introduce the Fantastic Four in some sort of way, maybe give some sort of like Easter egg or something, but obviously we didn't get any of that.
Nothing.
And then I feel like even from Captain Marvel, right, the way we viewed the Skrulls, like, oh no, they're like this evil alien race, and then you kind of grow fond of them, like, oh no, they're not that bad. And then now we walk away from Secret Invasion, and now there's this war against the Skrull, and it's like, wow, we're supposed to hate them again. Like, this is weird.
You see, so my favorite person to watch for analysis on these things is that Screen Crush guy, that Ryan Erie guy.
Okay.
And his videos about this were like, they mostly focus on where it can go, because whenever you talk about what happened, it's just fucking just disappointment, dude. I feel like the first 3 episodes had like all this promise, and it was looking like it could be really cool, and so much of me was like hoping it was gonna like stay like piquing my interest. And then in the last few episodes, I feel like there's like 1 or 2 cool parts, but overall, I'm just like, what the fuck's even happening?
Yeah.
Like, when did this derail, and how long did it take me to notice that it derailed?
Yeah, I had to finish the series to kind of be able to take a step back and kind of question a lot of things. Like, obviously, to me, it was no surprise that Rhodey was a Skrull.
Yeah,
and
he had to be. He was the only. A big mistake with that was not having a bunch more consistent Marvel characters in the show to do diversion. Because you weren't wondering like, oh, who could be a Skrull? Who could be a Skrull? It's like, well, the only fucking other guy in this show is Rhodey, and so he's got to be a Skrull, right?
Yeah, and it just like he like exuded like this isn't Rhodey. I was like, this is like based off of all like his appearances. It's just like, this was just like a dead giveaway. I'm like, this is like, I never once even questioned like, is this gonna be a trick? I'm like, no, there's no way Rhodey's gonna be so disrespectful to Nick Fury like that. I was like, this is so obvious. And then at some point, I'm like watching the finale, right, episode 6, and I'm like, wait, when did Nick Fury find out that Rhodey was a Skrull? They never show that on the show. You just kind of.
I mean, I think he just figures it out in the show. Like somehow, like he did. Like the thing that sucks about this show is like Samuel L. Jackson. It's no fault of his because I think the performances in the show are pretty good. But just it was just so. Do you know about the rewrites and whatnot that they had to do for the show?
I know that there were some, but I'm not sure exactly what was rewritten.
So like a lot of the show apparently a portion of the show was going to involve Russia invading Ukraine.
Okay.
So
yeah,
they rewrote that. They took that out, but they'd already shot a good amount of it. So that's one of the explanations I've seen for why there's like no one in the show. Like there's no extras in a lot of like parts of it. It's just like very minimal cast. And it's because a lot of what we saw was reshoots. I think I saw people like estimate that 60% of what Secret Invasion ended up being was reshoots. So we only saw like 40% of what they shot when they were actually shooting the show. Man, everything else was done in reshoots.
That's terrible.
That sucks. That like at that point, like dude, I was thinking about this earlier today when I was thinking about like I mean, like if it's that close to fucking if you think it's gonna piss anybody off, like to have it mirror something that's like so close to happening in real life, like Marvel, that's one thing that they've always done with their comics was, you know, transport real life like events into the comics and have them exist in the real world. It's not DC. In a fantasy world, it's Marvel that happens in our real world. Like, just have it. And like, if people are going to get mad at you, as somebody who said something and people got mad at me about the Russia-Ukraine thing, the worst thing that happens is a bunch of people who you don't know tell you to kill yourself on the internet. It's not that bad.
Yeah, Disney's too woke these days, and it's it's true.
I mean, it's not even woke; it's scared.
Yeah, for sure. They
scared. You're afraid to make something challenging. You're afraid to make something that might be somewhat controversial. So you just end up making vanilla ass shit.
Yeah, like it's disappointing.
Like woke would even be preferable over this afraid to offend anyone. Like shit, which I mean, even like there's so much in the show that is hard. Like there's hard scenes and hard shit that happens in the show. For sure. But it's so muted by what I feel like their original intention was, that they had to divert because they were scared of people being like, oh, this is too close to something that's actually happening. And it's like, so fucking what, dude? They're going to make movies about what's happening. We're watching Chernobyl right now. It's fucking sucks. It's really awful. And we feel really bad after every episode, but they're going to make movies about this shit. You may as well be on it. Be like, hey, we started to make this because we imagined this is like a worst case scenario of something that could happen in the world. And then that worst case scenario fucking happened. Like, I don't know. There's Simpsons isn't afraid to predict the future.
I feel like they're time travelers, like giving us hints. Like, yo, fam, this is gonna go down. Read between the lines.
But yeah, so like that's my issue with this show is I think there's tons of cool shit that they did, like, but it just falls the fuck off.
Yeah, because when it's over, I'm just like, what was the point of this series? Nothing was resolved. There was just more conflict created, and it seems like Nick Fury has just been kind of fucking up this whole situation, right? Because he's been in charge of this whole secret operation for the longest time, and then at the very end, he just gets on a spaceship and is gonna leave, and he's gonna go try to broker this deal with another race. So it's just like, okay, like I don't really feel like he's gonna find like a real solution. It seems like he's just putting another band-aid on it, because it's like, okay, like let's just not find you your own home. Let's try to find you another temporary home with another evil alien race. Yeah,
I don't know. I think where it I think what it did, the dominoes it knocked over, are cool, and where this could go from here in Thunderbolts and in Captain America: Brave New World. I think that all of those movies are going to tie into what happened here, and it's going to be important. It just sucks that this thing that was important fucking sucked.
To me, it just, I wonder, okay, like, what are we focusing on? Because, you know, with the Infinity Saga, right, there was like this thing building, and it just seems right now, like all these movies and series aren't building towards anything. Like, obviously, like we have Kang, but there's obviously like the actor has his issues going on, so it seems like Disney's not even like talking about that. And it's just like, is that even going to be like the main villain that we're going to have to, you know, or that the MCU is going to have to fight like at the end of this? It just seems like the whole universe is kind of in limbo, doing like all these TV shows and movies for nothing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's building towards Ross. I think Thunderbolt Ross is what this is building towards. I think it's building towards a villain being in charge of things. Like, I think that I also just, so to wonder like where it's going, like I think I see where it's going, but more than anything, like it all still does make sense to me. Like what's the fucking president at the moment? What's it?
Ritson or whatever.
Ritson, yeah, Ritson. Like him, like having this insane, like outsized, like xenophobic kind of reaction to what happened, which is going to cause more conflict. Like, my thing that I hate about this is it does all track like logically. It all makes sense. Gravik makes sense. Like Gaia makes sense to a certain extent. Like all these, the only thing that doesn't make sense is how weak her reaction to her father dying is. But from what I can tell, I think a lot of that was done in reshoots. So a lot of the scenes that I feel like have no wind in the sails and have no heart and no real like weight behind them, I think are these trying to make sense of something after what you had that made perfect sense is now like, I don't know, like a half idea. Like you're trying to fill in all these gaps of something that you already had. You already had like a full glass, and then you dumped it out. Now you're trying to fill it with like anything you can to like make that level get back to where it was, so you can get 6 episodes out of this story, which some of them were so short.
Yeah, the time variations are just really weird. It wasn't consistent at all.
Like one of them was like, I think less than 40 minutes. Like, fuck off, dude. Like this should have been 12. They need to stop doing this 6 episode shit. Not only because it fucks the writers over, and from what we're finding out, like that's one of the main reasons why we get all these little mini series is because it's a way for them to like get away with paying writers less for doing the same amount of work. They need to stop this whole like I get it that they want to focus like a lot of production on like a dense story so they can use like Falcon and Winter Soldier was cool. I liked it. Yeah,
but you know,
it looked good. I thought it was all rad. I thought Loki was good. I thought Miss Marvel was good. I liked She-Hulk a lot too. I've liked all of these shows, except I don't like this one. And it very much could be because they just had no budget for the reshoots. But again, like, I don't know. Just if you're gonna have to change the story, maybe you got to take more time to tell a new story then, and you can't still squeeze it into 6 episodes that are gonna mean something. Like, I get where it's going. I feel like it has set up some cool stuff, like, but just the execution was so, it left me wanting so much more than these other shows did.
Yeah, like I thought walking away that we would be in a better place for the MCU. But like I said earlier, I feel like we just didn't move anywhere, which sucks.
I mean, I think things have moved. The Skrull War is gonna be fucked. Like one of the hardest parts of the show is when they show all the like Skrulls and suspected Skrulls just getting gunned down in the street by just people who are suspecting of them. Like that being a reality in the Marvel universe is horrifying.
But it's not even a war. This is just a massacre because all those Skrulls aren't capable of going to war, right?
Yeah. Well, and some of these people aren't even Skrulls.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Sometimes you're just gunning down a human and then finding out that they don't change into a Skrull, and you just shot the fucking the Prime Minister of Britain is one of the assassinations you see. I can't remember what that street is that they all live on. But she gets gunned down in front of her house, and she's not a Skrull. Yeah.
I don't see the follower of this being that interesting. Like from my perspective, I walk away. I'm like, wow, this is just stupid. This is just a big waste of time. And Nick Fury's ego, to me, is a big problem because he was using them, right, for this whole time. He was using them. Did not hold up his end of the
Nick Fury's the villain.
I'd be okay with that because he's the reason why they got into this mess, didn't hold up his end of the bargain, and then he could have easily, and this is one thing that I have a problem with, which it's been ongoing for movies like Eternals and now Secret Invasion. They could easily ring up any Avenger, right? And this is, especially in Secret Invasion, right? This is a global problem, right? They're trying to destroy the Earth, and Nick Fury's like, no, it's too dangerous. They're gonna copy one of their powers. And then later on, towards the end of the series, he's like, no, like this is like my battle or whatever he says. And it's like, this is so stupid. You could literally call any Avenger to help out because Gravik wasn't even that strong.
Or even the big thing that they could have really addressed is the Harvest. He could be like, I can't call any Avengers because if they find out about the Harvest, they're going to be really fucking mad. They're going to be they're going to kill me. Like they're going to go bad. Like the fear of an Avenger breaking bad because of what Fury has done and how he's manipulated them. I mean, watching Avengers last night, or I guess I think it was last night or 2 nights ago at Dave's. We watched the first Avengers with Dave Bogger the other night, and Fury manipulates them all. He tricks them. He does what he needs to do to get them to do his bidding. And I think that Marvel or Kevin Feige, whoever the fuck worked on Secret Invasion that crafted this story, forgot that Fury's an asshole. Fury isn't cool. He's cool in the way that he's manipulative and always has is always 2 steps ahead of everybody, but it fucking sucks that he is that. It's bad. And that he does a lot of bad stuff. He did so much bad stuff. He took advantage of the Skrulls. He did all this. He harvested all the heroes' powers. He did all this stuff. But throughout the whole thing, we're still made to want him to win. And I think the point of it should have been us being angry with him the whole time.
I was, because I'm like, dude, call somebody. It's not that hard.
Or at least address why you can't. Not oh, this is my fight. It's no, be honest. Say no, I can't call them. I fucked up. I created this mess with the Skrulls, and I used them to do something that will literally piss off every single Avenger. Yeah. Because if this falls into the wrong hands, as it does,
well, he gives it up, which is the weirdest thing to me.
He's also created the Survivor in Gaia is arguably the most powerful person in the Marvel universe now, which is terrifying.
Yeah, and to me, it just made zero sense. How does she know how to use all these different abilities? That was
so stupid.
Yeah, and there's the one shot, right, that's been floating around. I'm sure you've seen it.
Oh yeah,
the one with her with Drax's arm, and it looks so bad. You're just like, what is going on?
Awful, dude.
Yeah, and I was such a fan of that character, right? Because I'm a fan of the actress, so I was rooting for Gaia. And then I'm just like, here we go again. This is another stupid character. This makes no sense.
Yeah, they fumbled the bag, man. They had so much promise. First few episodes were so cool. Gravik was such a cool villain. Some of the violence was so sick. We were seeing blood in a Marvel show.
When Gravik did the throat slit after, like, you know, the those group of guys tried to, you know, rise up and take him out, I thought that was surprising. Like, oh, they actually showed this. Is crazy.
They showed so much violence, dude. It was awesome. That Gaia and Nick Fury's Boo go fucking John Wick mode on a bunch of dudes, and it's fucking crazy. Again, I think that part was done in reshoots to make some sort of action in that episode.
Okay.
What about, because again, like, one thing I saw pointed out about that was when they're getting like attacked in her house, these shapeshifters just get all the guns and go and fight back rather than using their ability to shapeshift.
That's, you know,
like, there's just so many missed opportunities in this fucking show.
Yeah, one thing that I didn't like is, why was Gaia like fighting Gravik in her like human form like the whole time?
Yeah,
like, this is so weird. It's, I don't know. I thought it was weird.
Dude, it made no sense. I mean, I guess budget, but still, dude, y'all are losing money anyway. Lose money and make a good thing.
Yeah. Stop cutting corners. It's insane.
Like, stop paying your CEO so much money.
What about Nick Fury in love with a Skrull? Is that legal? I don't know. It's like he's like married to a Skrull. He didn't tell anybody. I
mean, it probably is going to be, it's definitely illegal now. I'm sure there's going to be some miscegenation laws now against race mixing with Skrulls, now that they're all deemed to be all off-world people, which means all the people in New Asgard now are enemy combatants, according to President Nazi.
And I hate how America is like, or how the president of America was like, you know, my world, like, you know, he owns planet Earth. I was like, come on, dude.
Chill out. We think that. We live in the United States of America. We believe we own the world.
Yeah, but I think it's whack.
Yeah, me too.
It was just like, wow. And I was so surprised that he goes to Russia, right? Stupid move, especially you know, during conflict, and they get attacked, right? Ambush, whatever, and it just seems like the downtime between actually like taking action was just, I'm like, wow, that just seems really fake. I don't know if they would wait that long.
Oh, for America to react?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it would be the vice president would be assuming the role of president so fucking fast in America. Like, how long was Kennedy? Kennedy was like, Johnson wasn't even able to land on a plane before he was sworn in to be the president after Kennedy got assassinated. Like, there would be no time would be wasted. We'd be launching nukes. We'd be fucking launching nukes.
Yeah, World War III would already be a thing.
Yeah, that's the most unrealistic thing, is that America is too chill in Secret Invasion, and the show ends in a direct threat to millions of inhabitants of Earth, and America was still too chill in Secret Invasion for it to be believable.
Yeah, and once again, right? He makes this you know, declaration, you know, against all like off-world people. Like, who approved that? Where's Shield? Where's who's like, obviously there's gonna be,
Shield's done.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, which to me was another major thing that happened that didn't seem that major, but also seemed very pointless. And we're talking about Maria Hill getting killed like so early on in the series.
Dude, what a mistake that was.
Yeah, there was no benefit to that.
I get that they wanted to. The thing is, here's the thing. Possibly they were always planning on that was one of the original things that was going to happen in the show, so they didn't change it.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the low scope of cast in the show, once Maria Hill was killed, for 1 second you're like, oh, they'll kill anybody in this show, and then they never do again.
Well, Talos,
I guess, but that happens so much later.
True,
and also that I don't know. I just for there to be like two, the same thing with Rhodey being a Skrull, like. It was just too easy to assume what was going to happen to certain people. I mean, you could honestly assume Talos was going to get killed because something was going to need to make Gaia, like, do the right thing. But again, also Gaia was essentially maybe doing the right thing every opportunity she got. She was never really that allegiant to Gravik. Her whole motivation was very, very weird and very poorly written, which sucked. It felt like they were trying to piece something back together, but they were missing pieces, and they were just pushing them until they fit, and they don't fit.
Yeah, to me, it was just so weird. Like, how are they like so okay with her, behind enemy lines? And it was so obvious that she was the spy giving out, or the mole, right, giving out all the information, which is like, go figure. The one person that has ties to their enemies, like, that was just so stupid.
Is very schizophrenic storytelling. It really felt like the right hand had no idea what the left hand was doing the whole time. And I don't know, man. It's just messy.
And
I feel like the first 3 episodes were tight.
Yeah, but one of the things is like, all right, Gravik wanted to get, or help everyone turn into Super Skrulls, right? So he wanted to get the harvest or whatever. But they had some DNA because with Gaia, she became a Super Skrull before they even saw the harvest, and the process happened so fast. Like, why didn't they just start churning out these
way more of them?
Yeah,
who the fuck knows? Very stupid.
Yeah, so Gravik is like a terrible leader.
Yeah, and he seemed to be so hard and cool and badass, and like he was having a good point and great motivations, dude, and then he just deteriorated every episode.
I thought he was so whack. You could pull any Avenger, they'd come down, beat his ass. Story's over. Let's move on. Nick Fury, you're a little bitch. Like, he was so whack.
I thought he was awesome until the end.
So whack.
I thought he was awesome until the end. I thought it was cool how cold-blooded he was. He really, to me, he struck me as these young kids who we train up to do all kinds of dangerous shit, and then they come back to the real world, and it turns out their only skill set is just killing people or killing people, dealing drugs, dealing guns, doing all these illegal things that they did for the army or the CIA and whatnot. And then now their whole life becomes, well, I guess I'm just going to do global killing shit because there's nothing else I'm good at, and there's no fucking point in doing anything else because I've already seen how dark everything is. There's no point in even hoping that there's going to be a better future. No fucking point. So why not? And it just the cold, callous way, dude. When he sits in the car and they take out the guy who is getting tortured, and straight up British chick is Sonya hard, and she's cold blooded.
My favorite character of the whole series.
She was cool. She was really cool. Also, have you watched The Bear?
Never.
She's in the second season of The Bear, and we were watching the second season of The Bear, like as Secret Invasion was airing, and like the same night we watched like an episode of Secret Invasion, and then we were watching The Bear afterwards, and then she shows up in this episode of The Bear, and I'm like, that's and Ashton was like, what the fuck? Like, very, very weird. So she's having a moment right now, which is cool.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she was badass. She might be one of the best things that this show did, was just introduce her character.
Yeah, hopefully see more of her.
Well, I guess people are thinking that she might be assembling the MI-13 or whatever, which if they decide to revisit the Eternals and Black Knight as a character, then maybe him and Blade and Captain Britain might actually be a thing.
Too many teams.
And maybe Guy will be on that team. The Screen Crush. Dude, the Screen Crush guy made the video or whatever and was like talking about the possibility of that, the British Avengers team or whatever. And he was like, yeah, so another Marvel thing that we might not see for another 6 years. It's like, yeah, I guess, yeah. We're just, time is fucking this thing, man.
Guy needs to die.
I mean, she has to. There's no way she can live with all those powers.
Yeah, because who's going to be okay with her walking around with all those, like they're, some of these people are still alive. Yeah. And then also when you look at like the Black Order, right? She is Thanos, Ebony Maw, like all these evil people. Yeah. It's like you stole all that.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up. I really I don't know what they're gonna do. That's an incredible that's a crazy fucking Pandora's box to open up, even creating that character.
Yeah.
It seems like a huge oversight.
Yeah, and at some point, hopefully in the future, Nick Fury has to answer for creating that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, if we're going to move forward from here, Nick Fury's gotta lose some friends.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it sucks that he seemingly got to get away with everything.
He needs to honestly send him to the raft. He needs to be locked up.
Straight up, dude. But my thing is, like, that'll be the punishment from like Thunderbolt Ross. Like, that'll be the punishment from somebody worse than Fury. But for once, one of these heroes, one of these people who's actually has character and morals and conviction, needs to look at Fury and say, what the fuck do you think you're doing, dude? Are you kidding me? Like, this is you planned this? Like, you didn't stumble into collecting all of our DNA. Mm-hmm. That was something you willingly did after we all bled for the Earth.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. It's crazy that he, like, it never once did they really dig into the moral implications of what Fury does, except for to show, like, oh, he, created this disdain between the Skrulls and then Gravik. And for most of the show, it seemed like they made Gravik pretty sympathetic until the end, when he just totally goes like Azula mode and just kills everybody.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is, I mean, that's Stalin, I guess. That's like you kill everybody close to you, so then you end up all alone. But at the same time, it's like, I thought he had way too much. He had way more conviction, I think, to fall into a folly like that. That it all just made, it was just a mess at the end, dude. Just shit rolling downhill.
Yeah, it was weird. I never once thought that the Skrulls were gonna win or have a place. To me, they're going forward, they're just gonna be like a slave race kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not gonna be great. And that was another thing with this show, was never once while I was watching this did I think the Skrulls were gonna win.
Yeah, me either.
Like, I'm sorry, but that's a problem.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's a problem if you're supposed to accept that there's stakes in what you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Like, part of you has to feel like there's a chance your protagonist might lose. And nowhere in this did I feel like the protagonists were going to lose. I
was hoping that they were going to be able to find a solution, right? Like like without war, without any bloodshed. But Nick Fury just once again just does not hold up his end of the deal, which is terrible. And I get Gravik's frustration, right? Being there for so long. It's
being used.
Yeah, 100%.
Being made to kill people.
Yeah, when he reveals that the human form that he has is like the first person that Nick Fury had him kill, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty deep.
Well, and he's not even talking to Fury either.
Yeah, he's talking to
which is just so fucking cheap, dude. Like that's another thing is like all this time in this show where they could have been using the Skrull powers to shapeshift, like the only people we saw use it in like a subversive way were the villains.
Mm-hmm.
We never saw any of the good Skrulls using their shapeshifting ability in any subversive way that was creative or like you're saying Gaia being in her human form the whole time in the fucking final fight. Like that's such fucking bullshit, dude. Like the only time we see Gaia shapeshift into anything else is to shapeshift into Fury to then have a conversation with Gravik that means nothing because Gravik's not even talking to the person that he needed to say all this shit to.
Mm-hmm. And also that scene where he's going to use the harvest, to me, it just seemed like such an oversight. Like, why would you let Fury stay in the machine with you? It just seemed like, okay, like even with the small chance of, okay, what if he gets powers? Like, let me just boot him out of here. He's seemingly very weak due to the radiation, but maybe this is his ego letting him get to his head where he didn't care or whatever. But then it's just like, wow, so convenient that they were able to both get the powers from the harvest.
It was so stupid.
Yeah. And
that's the Batman v Superman. They're both their mom's names are Martha, and part of the Secret Invasion is that part.
Yeah, because never once did that episode I did not believe that Nick Fury was just blindly going alone to Gravik down with the radiation where he's going to be compromised and he's going to walk to his death. I was like, this is so stupid. I don't believe this.
Yep.
Because and the one thing that I hated too was like, okay, there's like this rhetoric in like the earlier half of the series where Nick Fury's has-been, Nick Fury's washed up, and then episode 5 he goes to the cemetery and he's piecing together his eye patch, his handgun that's like, it's a fucking handgun, dude. This is not anything that special. And I'm like, this is like they're trying to like guess like, oh shit, the old Nick Fury's back, he's suiting up just like in the old Marvel Netflix series where like like the whole series we're waiting for them to bear their costume, right?
Yeah.
And when they do, it's like, oh shit, it's on. But with this Nick Fury moment, I'm like, this is so cheap, this is so stupid. He's finally putting on the eye patch and I'm like, this guy ain't shit. I'm not being sold on this. This is so stupid.
Yeah, it's fucking like there's cool moments in the show. Like every episode I think has some cool moments, but just overall just a fumbled bag, man.
Can I tell you about my favorite scene from like the whole series?
Yeah.
It's the episode. So this is after the bombing, right? Maria Hill just got killed and Talos hits up Gravik. He's like, hey, like, like parlay, right? So they go and they go to this cafe and they're talking and they're sitting at the table and then Gravik brings up Gaia and then Talos like freaks out and stands up and is like, about to like attack Gravik. And then you see everybody in the cafe, shapeshift into Gravik. I'm like, oh shit, that scene was like my favorite scene. I was like, okay, I'm waiting for something this cool to happen again, and it just never happened. Never made me so stoked on a scene.
Yeah, I mean that scene's fucking cool, dude. The scene where Gravik and what's his second in command, who he ends up turning on and impaling.
I could not tell you if I'm being honest.
Trying to think of that fucker's name right now. I don't even know if they'll give it in this description of things.
Yeah, I'm looking through the cast. Yeah, I don't even see his name.
He had one of those names that like it's like a it's not Beto. Beto is the young one.
Oh, it's Pagan or
Pagan. Yes. When him and Pagan go in to rescue the dude who's being tortured, that scene's hard as fuck. They're in there just like smoking dudes, just headshot guys. It's awesome.
Yeah,
they're going like John Wick mode on people. It's cool.
But also, they realize that the guy who's getting tortured was compromised.
Yeah. And then they have him shot in the woods. That's hard. That's cool.
Why did they go so hard for him if they knew he was so compromised? That was one thing I was just kind of like, shouldn't they just left him there?
I mean, well, you got to stop. You got to hopefully interrupt him from
giving up too much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was going back regardless.
Yeah. Because at that point, it's just like, it's too risky.
And also, it kind of felt like an initiation for the Beto kid. Like, you got to see how we actually operate.
Yeah.
And that's how those people operate.
What about, we talked about how Rhodey was a Skrull, and it was like just some Skrull named Rava. It's like, why? They didn't even... Because remember when everyone was getting freed, and he's and what's his name was like, oh, Rhodey, like, how long have you been down here? And we never get that answer. So it's like, how long has Rhodey been captured? Who is Rava? Like why Rava? Is there's just so many unknowns.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. Part of me hoped that all the Skrulls that were inhabiting people's lives, part of me hoped that those people were dead.
Why?
Because they're stakes then.
Okay. But also it's like, okay, like, are the Skrulls that evil when they're like, all right, like, we're still going to preserve the people who we're impersonating? Also,
huge issue with them preserving the people that they're inhabiting. They're preserving those people in the place where they live, which is full of radiation.
Yeah, and everybody just walks away with zero issue.
Just walks away. That was my.
I didn't think about that.
At the end of the day, biggest issue at the end of the show was that they fought hard enough to have Fury have a hard time going there and being like sick and taking iodine pills. Yet all of the humans just walk out of there like they just woke up.
Okay, there's one scene where I'm just kind of like, I was just scratching my head. I didn't really know what it meant, and I didn't even really care to like research it, if I'm being honest. It was that scene with Sonya where they kind of walk into that room and there's all those like glowing bodies. Do you remember that scene? It was like at the end.
That means. No idea what that means.
Okay, because I saw that and I'm like, did I miss something? What the fuck is this?
And I didn't care enough to find out what.
Yeah, no, I was in the same boat. I was just like, all right. I was like, this is it. We're at the finish line. This show was not what I wanted it to be. Which whatever not everything.
Is, I'm sure it's sus.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, I just feel like this shit was just pointless. Because in the bigger
left it whatever it was going to be.
Yeah,
whoever it was going to offend, whatever. Like I said, the worst thing that's going to happen is a bunch of strangers on the internet tell you to kill yourself.
Yeah, and I feel like that discussion would be better than like what went wrong and the conversations we're having now.
Exactly. Like, there's so many dissatisfied customers with it who liked what you guys are doing before, that you may as well have made something that was going to dissatisfy a bunch of people who don't give a shit about what you guys are doing. And run the risk that people like us who were in the bag for you all would be still there. But now I guess I'm gonna watch Loki.
I feel and this is where things get tricky, right?
See the Marvels, but
like I feel like Loki's gonna be a hit, right? Because
but also, I mean, I think we had this conversation. Was it Spider-Man? Was that the one that came after Eternals?
Spider-Man,
or was it Doctor Strange?
I think it might have been Spider-Man before Doctor Strange.
I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Spider-Man. Yeah. Because I had this thought when we watched Spider-Man. I was like, do we love Spider-Man so much because it's a really fucking good comic book movie? Or are our expectations so shattered that anything would be this good?
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man is still pretty good.
100%.
But I think coming out of Eternals, it's the goddamn Godfather.
Yeah, no.
It's Star Wars. Like,
that's why when I look at what's left, we might end the year on a sour note, because the Marvels might not be, because right, Secret Invasion, we're kind of like, all right, in this weird lull, Loki's gonna perk us back up, and then if Marvels, which I don't see how it's gonna be like, oh shit, this movie was so awesome, because I don't know if you've seen the trailer. It's just like, all right, cool, like this looks interesting, but I don't know if it's gonna have the ability to keep us on that high.
So I've seen a couple of the trailers, but the trailers don't really tell you anything that's happening in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
From what I can tell, at least. The only thing that, I mean, you get like an idea that like their powers are linked together in a way. It doesn't really get explained, which I'm cool with. Please stop fucking explaining things to me in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
Stop giving me all the motivations and the whole story in the trailers, which I'm totally cool with. When I was watching some of the stuff about like where could Secret Invasion take us, some of the plot of the Marvels gets mentioned in that, and it sounds cool to me. We'll see.
Yeah, they're fighting the Kree, where Samuel or where Nick Fury's trying to go and take the Skrulls, and why are you going to take me to this place where there's like evil people?
Well, from what I can tell, from what I've seen of talking about it, is this Kree character is like super xenophobic, similar to the way Ronan the Accuser was, and very much like a Kree or war people, like we are not to make peace and whatnot. So she might be upset that the Kree are possibly talking peace with the Skrulls, and in that society is trying to do a thing where you create a sect of, an insurgency of sorts to fight against the mainstream that wants to get along.
Which is like, all right.
Which I've some of the theories I've seen is that this character might play off of Thunderbolt Ross becoming president, and there being leaders of these different worlds who are very authoritarian, xenophobic, and how people who think that way kind of get along with each other typically.
Yeah, but to bring the Skrulls from one war to another, wouldn't it just make more sense to find them their own place? Even though I know that's hard, right? Oh, let's just go find an uninhabited planet and plop you down here. It's just seems so stupid. Nick Fury's an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's the thing, is I don't think he was ever looking for a solution.
Yeah, no, for sure. He was having fun, in the shadows. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. He did not. He is an asshole and an idiot for not thinking that was ever gonna blow back on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit will always blow back on you. It's not avoidable.
Yeah. So I never thought that I would look at the MCU, like big picture MCU, and not be stoked. It feels like we're dangerously getting close to like early DC EU territory, where like these films, these TV series are just kind of a joke and not being done properly, not being taken serious, just being just straight up trash. And for us to be like super close to that, it's like crazy to me, because the history, the characters, like the foundation's there. Like, how do they keep messing up?
I'm still stoked on the films that are coming out. The thing, I watched a YouTube video the other day talking about it was what's the biggest problem with Marvel right now, or Marvel's biggest enemy right now, and the thing this guy said was it's time.
Okay.
Time is the biggest problem. And then he was like, and I don't mean time travel, I mean the time that we get to see these characters, the time that we're spending with them. And he went through and all the Iron Man appearances and was like, these are the years. There was only 2 years from the start of Iron Man in 2008. There were only 2 years we did not see Iron Man in a film, whether it was him showing up in the Incredible Hulk, whether it was him being in a Spider-Man movie, whether it was an Avengers movie. There were 2 years from 2008 till Endgame. There were 2 years we did not see Iron Man show up in a film to at least say, hey, what's up? Or do a walk and talk with somebody. And then he went through and all the Captain America appearances. And he went through all the Thor appearances and all the Black Widow appearances and all the Hulk appearances. And I was like, oh my God, you really did just get to see these characters a ton. Interact with each other, interact with the world, and constantly be reminded of how their relationships work, so that when Civil War happens, like we have seen Captain America and Iron Man disagree a lot over the years to that point. I don't know. It's just I realize I'm like, damn, they really like. And then he went into talking about like Shang-Chi, like great, origin movie. Awesome. He tied in with another character and whatnot. And then now we have no clue when the second movie's coming or when he's going to show up in another movie. It could be 6 years before we see him again. He made the point that even though Doctor Strange shows up in a bunch of other movies, a person who was 10 years old when Doctor Strange came out would have been 16 years old when the sequel comes out, when Multiverse of Madness comes out. You are so different from the ages of 10 to 16. Like, and that's where I think, like, so a lot of, like, there's this question, like, I think Star Wars faces it too. It's, are these movies for kids or are these movies for adults? Because you need to make a decision. You need to make a decision because kids are going to watch anything. Even if it's rated R, they're going to watch it.
100%.
They're going to watch it. So do you want to make something that appeals just to kids? Or do you want to make something that is going to appeal to someone as they grow up? And all this quippy Joss Whedon stuff is cool when it is new and it works. But as time goes on, you're getting diminishing returns on a lot of this way you're telling stories. You can't tell every single one of these stories the same way. You can't have these characters acting the same. They need to have differences. They need to have like things that make them unique to one another. They can't all like, I saw something the other day about like somebody posted a screen, like a clip from the new Mission Impossible movie. Have you seen it yet?
I have not watched a single Mission Impossible.
Brother, they're fucking badass.
I know. I think Mission Impossible 3, they film like back in Palm Springs, which I...
Really?
Yeah, there's like I don't know which one it is, but there's a Mission Impossible where there's like airplanes flying through like the giant windmills, and they actually filmed it in Palm Springs, like on location.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You should watch the Mission Impossible, dudes. The second one's bad, and it still has redeeming qualities.
Okay.
To
be clear, I love Tom Cruise as an actor, so I should watch it.
Dude, he's awesome in it. He's great. I think forever since seeing Edge of Tomorrow, I think Edge of Tomorrow is my favorite Tom Cruise performance.
Mine's The Last Samurai.
It's good.
Okay.
This is cool. This is a cool movie. But there's a scene in the new Mission Impossible movie where Simon Pegg is having like a heartfelt moment, and someone posted a clip of this on like Twitter or whatever we're calling it now.
X. We're going with X.
Not saying it.
Come on.
Not saying it.
X. The straight edgers we're rising up right now.
Dude,
Elon Musk is secretly straight edge.
Elon Musk can get the fuck away from straight edge for all I care. Fuck that guy. But someone posted this and was like, what is this like bullshit Disney Channel dialogue? And it's like Simon Pegg having like a heart. It's not like amazing writing, but it's like emotional. Like he like is like kind of pouring his heart out in this scene. And this person was making the point that, holy shit, like people think like emotion and like caring and like having a heartfelt like moment is cringe. Everything needs to be so soaked in like sarcasm and so fucking sardonic and self-aware and self-referential and like, oh yeah, look at us, look at what we're doing. Like everything has to be this like, well, that just happened, like shit. And it's frustrating because I love like fucking sappy gay shit. Like I love when I watch something and it feels like it rips at my heart and pulls me and makes me a soft little doughboy. That's cool. It's cool when you watch something and you feel emotionally affected by it, not just like it's always looking at you and winking. Like fuck that, dude. I don't know. I want these things to have heart. Like the Captain America movies have tons of heart. He's so like, he really, he's just earnest. He's an earnest character. And I miss those characters being like, it's fine. You can have Tony Stark. It fits his character to be sardonic, and it fits his character to be an asshole and a prick. It's funny. It's cool. It works. But every character can't be Tony Stark. Every character can't be Spider-Man. Like they all have to have these different qualities. And it feels like they're trying to shoehorn these characteristics into characters that don't need them. They can exist, and I'll watch it. I'll love it, especially if they seem like they have like a buy-in to what's happening. And that, dude, Secret Invasion, it really, like, I do get that like Samuel L. Jackson plays the same character in everything he's in. And sometimes that really fucking works. And there were moments in Secret Invasion, like with him and his wife, that did feel like emotional, like the conversation they have when they shoot over each other's heads. Yeah. That was a cool scene. But it's lost in the rest of that show where he just doesn't face any repercussions for anything he does. He's just able to do his thing. I mean, the only repercussion he faces is what? Gravik blows up people and shoots his you know, a person who he was responsible for.
Yeah, well, two
people he was responsible for. He kills both of them, and it doesn't seemingly affect him in any real negative way.
Yeah, he just gets fake fired by the fake roadie.
Yeah, like it's just, I don't know, like the stakes just were not there, and they just should have gone with whatever they originally not planned for, but fucking shot. Like that's the thing. Like it would be different if they wrote it and they hadn't shot yet, and they were like, "Oh, we need to change this." But you spent the money to shoot it this way, fucking leave it. Because whatever you pay to fucking redo, you're gonna mess it up. You're gonna mess it up. Did you see Dark Phoenix?
You talking about the X-Men movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was apparently one scene in that movie that was done in the reshoots, and it is the only good scene in that movie. It's the train scene when they're all fighting and Magneto's goes like grab every gun in the fucking building and shoot Jessica Chastain. That whole scene was done in a reshoot because they needed to make the end of the movie not so similar to Captain Marvel. I want to say that's probably the only example I have of a successful reshoot, because it is a good part of that movie, but the rest of that movie sucks.
Yeah, I just hate that. I've lived long enough to see 2 Dark Phoenix movies. Like,
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, I
hate to break it to you. You'll see a third.
Okay, the third that I'm hoping for is like, please, let's kind of get through phase 5 and 6, and I want to live long enough to see them build towards X-Men vs. Avengers, and then bring back the Phoenix Force. That way, I don't want to see another Jean Grey Dark Phoenix movie. But you know, the movies, those X-Men movies weren't that good, but I loved the casting, which is just
I did like all the way through Days of Future Past.
That's the best. Days of Future Past is the best X-Men movie to date.
I think you're right.
But
I think Apocalypse has moments.
Yeah, but they should have just killed that little kid. When you're in these situations, to save everybody a headache, to save death, I'll kill a little kid. We know what he's going to turn into. It's all right. It ain't going to be fun. I'm not going to be proud of it, but I would do it.
There's I know Dave brings this up all the time when he brings it. I think it's an X-Force comic where there's a mutant that's really dangerous and they've got to kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And Deadpool like kind of walks off.
Mm-hmm.
And when later on someone like tries to like give him shit, like what do you fucking mean? Like you don't give a shit about anything. And he's like, well, at least I didn't kill a fucking kid.
Yeah, I think that's referencing Rick Remender's Uncanny X-Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's even I can't remember.
Again, like that's hard.
It's hard, but if I was them, I would do it. Because like, there's also I'm having trouble remembering who wrote the story, but there's an Avengers story where they're going up against Kang, and someone's like, "Dude, we can time travel. Let's just go kill the baby." So they're all right, like let's do it. Everybody's down, and they get to Kang as a baby, and then they back off. They're like, "Nah, we can't do this. This isn't right." But I'm just like, I'd kill that stupid baby. I'd do it. I'm sorry.
Jamie here to make the hard decisions.
Yeah, to save everybody the trouble and the pointless death. It's just like this baby's evil. We ain't saving this baby. This baby's not gonna grow up and be nice and be like, oh, I'm not gonna be a bad guy. It's like, no, destined to be bad.
Yeah, he has to be bad. Even when he decides to be good, he causes more harm than good by being good.
Yeah.
By being good, he creates a paradox that will end the universe.
It's crazy, but I'm obviously ride or die. I'm wearing an Iron Fist t-shirt, which might.
Yeah, that's sick. Let me see that. What is?
It's just. This is it.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, might be one of my favorite t-shirts. But you know what's weird? Check this. I wear this t-shirt. I'm on TikTok, right? I'm a huge fan of TikTok. I'm scrolling through TikTok. I'm on TikTok way more than I should be. Never once have I seen anything Iron Fist until today, which I'm like, this is crazy. This is just another one of those crazy examples where your phone's spying on you 100% because I'm just scrolling through and boom, I'm watching season 1 of Iron Fist on TikTok. And I was like, I got so caught up because I forgot how much I actually enjoyed it.
Dude, it's good.
Yeah, no, it's good.
his Ward character, Oscar worthy.
Yeah, and
his performance is amazing in that shit.
Yeah, he has to go through the worst of it out of anybody.
Yeah, he rocks.
Yeah, and to think where they were going to go in season 3 with him. Oh,
I know, dude. It was going to be cool.
Yeah,
it was going to be cool. I honestly, I hate how much flack Iron Fist gets because I do think the second season of Iron Fist is legitimately good, and I think there's a salvageable amount in the first season that's cool. Yeah,
and one thing that I liked is he was getting so much shit about his kung fu and his martial arts, and if you go back to the Defenders, the first fight scene is Danny Rand, Iron Fist, beating people up, showing you that. Yeah, this guy was on like a week's, maybe 2 weeks notice to film Iron Fist, so he didn't get to train. But from because it went Iron Fist season 1, Defenders, and then Iron Fist season 2, and he just showed that he's a talented actor and he knows how to do martial arts. So it was so sick to see him be able to redeem himself in Defenders.
Yeah, I really liked him. I thought he was cool. I thought he did a good job in the role, and it's a bummer.
It's to me, it'd
be cool if they brought him back.
I get I'm Daredevil, probably my second favorite Netflix series. But to recast Daredevil, Kingpin, but to just kind of leave everyone else out, it's like, dude, they were all making money.
I've heard Kristen Ritter is for sure coming back.
And what? Really?
I can't remember. I can't remember what it was, but I've heard she is like she's had the meetings and whatnot, and she's already signed back on.
Dude, she's the GOAT. She's here every fucking episode.
Yeah, she is right there.
Yeah.
I've heard she's coming back, and I've heard that Luke Cage and I can't remember Mike Coulter. I've heard Mike Coulter and homeboy who played Danny are the only ones who've not gotten the call.
They should capitalize and just do a movie with them. Like, don't even give them a series, just give them movies. And even Colleen, I thought Colleen was a badass character. Yeah,
she rocked. She was cool in Game of Thrones too.
She was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, she was one of the sisters from God. Where was Oberyn from?
Dude, I haven't even thought about Game of Thrones in a minute. Colleen, she was in. Yeah,
the snakes or whatever. I can't remember what they called themselves, but the little assassin girls from the fucking. I can't remember what the fuck is the.
Yeah, because the only
place where Oberyn's from.
They're the yellow color, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
I know you're talking about now. It's been a minute. I've been a little down on Game of Thrones. Been on the fence. Been wanting to read that AI book or that guy wrote to finish off the whole series. But
yeah, I still haven't watched the new thing.
House of Dragons.
Dorne. Yeah, the chicks from Dorne.
Really? I do not remember Colleen. I just remember Danny Rand.
Yep, she's one of his sisters. It's his sister or whatever who tries to. She gets all crazy after he gets killed, right?
Yeah, after he gets his freaking eyes pushed in.
God, that part's hard. But yeah, maybe it's one of his daughters. I can't remember. But yeah, Colleen's one of the snakes or whatever. I think she's only in 2 episodes, but that was when she got cast in Iron Fist. I was like, oh, she was in Game of Thrones. Oh, I remember her in Game of Thrones. She's cool.
Yeah. Is there a TV show like that these days that everybody's watching?
I don't know. I think everybody watched The Bear.
See, I haven't even heard of that. What the hell is The Bear about?
It's about like kitchen workers or whatever. It's got the kid from Shameless in it. It's got Matty Matheson in it, the hardcore chef guy.
I know who he is. I met him one time.
It's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. Can I tell you about the time that I met Matty Matheson?
Yeah, let's hear
it. This was, I'm trying to, had to have been For the Children 2016. It was 2015 or 2016. Comeback Kid was playing that year. And I remember
that year.
Yeah, and I remember I was just in the lobby because I'm like really antisocial. I just like to not be around a bunch of people. So I'm like, it's like in between bands, I'm in the lobby, and I see Matty Matheson just standing there by himself, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's Matty Matheson. And I knew that he had ties to Comeback Kid because if like in some of his older videos, like you see Scott Wade and the band, like he's making food for them. So I'm like, oh shit, he's definitely here because of Comeback Kid. So I remember I walk over to him and I introduce myself. I'm like, hey, Matty Matheson, like my name's Jamie. I'm a fan. And he like, I go to shake his hand and he's shaking my hand. And as he's shaking my hand, I'm complimenting him. I'm like, yo, like love the book you just put out, the Bologna Bowls, like insane. And as I'm giving him these compliments, he's like squeezing my hand harder and harder. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I think he's like very appreciative of me complimenting him, but it was just such a cool moment because I'm such a fan, and I'm still a fan of him to this day. Like I watch, like I'm still subscribed to his channel. I watch everything that he does on Vice and even like his own personal channel. So he's awesome.
That's awesome. That's good to know. Yeah, you should watch The Bear, dude. He wears a Harm's Way shirt in like the first episode.
Okay. So and this is all scripted. It's not like reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's scripted. The kid from Shameless like did like tons of like working in kitchens to prepare to like look authentic. It's like I've heard from friends of mine who work in kitchens that it sucks to watch the show because it's too close to the way they actually feel.
Okay. And where are you watching this? The Bear?
It's on Hulu.
Okay. I have
It's
Hulu.
one of those. It's one of the FX shows that like always land on Hulu because everything on FX lands on Hulu.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
It's great.
The Bear.
I'm trying to think though of any other shows that are like in the zeitgeist that everybody watches right now. I don't fucking know either.
Yeah, but
like
also
everybody watched White Lotus. Everybody watched fuck, I don't know.
I don't like I spend too much time watching like anime and K dramas, so I'm not like really in tune with what's going on. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, we kind of stay in the zeitgeist to a certain extent. We've been going to the movies a lot more. We saw the new Ninja Turtles movie the other day. It's fucking awesome.
What about Blue Beetle?
I hear it's awesome.
I know. I was gonna go the other night.
It really bad. I think we might go see it next week.
Okay. Yeah. Like the last movie I saw in theaters was that horror movie Talk to Me.
Dude, what'd you think?
Fucking amazing. I love that shit.
So sick.
You watched it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to see the Meg, or I wanted to see that theater camp movie.
Okay.
And Dustin, who plays in Gates, his girlfriend, we were eating at the restaurant that she worked at, and Gates is back like 2 or 3 days at a time anymore.
They're busy. Yeah.
So he was home for a few days, and she was like, we should hang out when Dustin's home. And I was like, well, we were gonna try to go to the movies that night, and I kind of want to go see the Meg or that theater camp movie. And they were like, well, me and Dustin want to see that Talk to Me movie. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And then we all went and saw it, and it fucking rocked. Yeah,
no, I'm happy they watched it, because I've talked to so many people and nobody's watched it that I've talked to besides the friends that I went with. And the thing that I love about that movie the most is because I'm like really into the paranormal and demonic shit like that. So when I watched that movie, it gave me like Paranormal Activity vibes, where the events in the movie could happen to me. Yeah. So I'm just like, all right, this is something that I'm really into, because there wasn't like that much fantasy in it. So I'm like, this is fucking crazy and really creepy.
I think that's because of the phone integration into the movie. It really made it feel like a lived-in experience. Like, especially how the movie was shot too. The movie was shot very much like a voyeuristic way. Like you could be there watching it.
Yeah.
It was cool. Did you know the dudes who did it are the ones who made those like crazy videos of like the psychotic Ronald McDonald and shit?
No.
Did you ever watch those viral YouTube videos? It's like Ronald McDonald showing up and just like being a complete psychopath. Like
those fake McDonald's commercials?
I don't know if they're fake commercials, but he's like this, like a Ronald McDonald, like cursing and fighting people.
Yeah. I didn't know that those people did that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's those guys. They, I also saw something where they shot a prequel to Talk to Me, like as they were shooting Talk to Me, but I don't think the prequel's been greenlit yet. But the prequel is shot all through phone cameras. Well,
you know that they greenlit a sequel.
Yeah, but they haven't. But that's I saw something where like while they were shooting Talk to Me, they kept having more ideas, and they just started writing. And those ideas that they kept having while they were shooting it are what's getting turned into the sequel, because they just kept thinking of more scenes to shoot, of more ways for the story to expand, which is cool.
Yeah, shout out A24, excuse me, for being so cool and putting out cool shit like that, because that reminds me of that movie X and Pearl, which I haven't seen, but whichever one came first, they were shooting that movie, and then this was like during COVID, and the directors like hit up A24 like, hey, like we're gonna be down here for a while, can we just like, is it chill, we just shoot a sequel or a prequel or whatever? And they're like, yeah, do it, like it makes sense.
I haven't seen that, but I heard it's good. Is that where they go to shoot the like the porno in the barn and it turns into a horror movie?
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. I think that's that movie.
Porno in the barn. All right, now I'm way more interested.
Fucking free.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah.
But Talk to Me, yo. I've been like really into these YouTubers lately called Sam and Colby, and they've been around for a while, and I'm just like kind of catching up to speed. So like that's like the majority of my time these days is I'm watching their like paranormal like ghost hunts. It's pretty interesting.
I can never take that shit seriously.
Okay, but check this out. So I was watching this one episode. They filmed it at this hotel in LA called the Blitmore like Millennium Hotel, and you know there's a ton of hotels in LA, so I didn't really think too much of it. And then there was like this one very specific shot where they were like on like this balcony inside the hotel, and I'm like, yo, that is very familiar. I've definitely been there. So like I did research and come to find out, like earlier in the year, had a friend visiting, and they hit me up. They're like, hey, like come hang out at my hotel. And it was that very hotel, and I didn't know that it was so haunted because I was just there, just like looking at the random like boba vending machine that they had, and just kind of surprised at like how fancy this like random hotel was. But like watching the Sam and Colby show, I'm like, holy shit, I was there, and I had no idea that that entire building was so haunted. And like now I'm like trying to remember like what floor my friend stayed on. I can't remember for the life of me.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah,
we were going to the movies a lot for a few weeks. We saw an Ninja Turtle movie. We saw Talk to Me. I feel like we saw something else. I mean, our Oppenheimer and Barbie, and God, there were so many movies coming out for like weeks in a row. There was like always something that I wanted to see. Ninja Turtle movie rocks though. Highly recommended.
Yeah, I like the art, so
It's cool. It's very similar to the Spider-Verse art.
Yeah.
Which I'm fucking game for. It's also, the cast is amazing.
Do you know who wrote the movie?
Seth Rogen, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's I know he produced it. I don't know if he wrote it too, but him and John Cena are Bebop and Rocksteady, and actual teenagers are playing the Ninja Turtles. It's fucking great.
Now, is this like the new thing going forward, or because I thought they were doing like Michael Bay was doing like another one?
I don't think so. I don't see how there's room for that many Ninja Turtles movies to be universes to be going on. But well, I would see another Michael Bay one because I fucking honestly love those things.
Yeah, I'm not like too well versed when it comes to TMNT. That's why I wasn't sure if like this is like going on at the same time, or did they close that other one? Or
I think they closed the other one. I think whatever the fuck, Out of the Shadows or whatever the fuck the last Ninja Turtle movie was, I think it did so bad that they scrapped the idea of doing more of them. But this one is cool, and I think they're definitely doing more, and it rocks. Jackie Chan plays Splinter. It's funny.
I love Jackie Chan.
Yeah, he's funny in it. It's cool. Visually, it's incredibly. I don't know. Looks great. It's fucking music's great. Everything about it rocks. Perfect movie. And
this isn't like in partnership with like Nickelodeon or.
I think so.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think so. And dude, I mean, not really a spoiler, but no Shredder.
No Shredder. But what about Casey Jones?
No Casey Jones yet.
April O'Neil?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's connected to the homegirl who is the main actress in The Bear. She voices April O'Neil.
Oh, interesting.
Pretty cool. She's great.
Huh.
She's a TikTok discovery as well.
Wait, you're on TikTok?
Well, I mean, we were making TikToks on the LDB TikTok and haven't recently.
I was gonna ask.
I still check every day. Ashton she has a folder in her TikTok of things to show me. So she saves me TikToks, and then I watch them at the end of the day. She used to do this on Twitter, but now she does it on TikTok because Twitter's dead.
Well, Twitter's not dead. Twitter has evolved.
Twitter is dying.
No, it's not. They're now paying people to tweet, Tyler Short.
That sucks. That sucks ass. Because people's tweets are fucking bad.
Yeah, Twitter's like the last thing that I check, if I'm being honest. Like in order of like social medias, like I go to Twitter last because I'm just like.
I'm honestly like thinking about not using it for the label at all anymore. I think I'm just gonna post from Instagram. I don't think I care to even post anything on on Twitter anymore.
If I'm being honest, I can't remember the last time I posted a promotion for the podcast on Twitter. I think like the last like 2 or 3 episodes I didn't even like post on Twitter, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do it anymore. Maybe if something severe changes, like maybe it changes its name back to Twitter.
Oh no, we're X till the end.
God. Well, honestly, if he was determined to drag down as many companies as possible, so he tried it with PayPal and he got kicked off the board. He's tried it with Tesla, and I think they took Tesla away from him too.
I don't know.
What a cool guy.
Yeah.
The meritocracy we live in is so neat.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, jmrk.com still your go-to source for all that. You don't need Twitter, you don't need Instagram, you don't need TikTok. Everything's there. jmrk.com.
That's tight. Ashton needs to take some time to revamp our website, because currently if you go there, it is still advertising the Strangle You 7-inch, which came out like a fucking year ago now.
What's up with the label? Because the last time we talked, Raw Live just put out their record.
Yeah, Raw Live put out their record. I should be getting test presses for that soon, which is cool. By the time people are hearing this, the Two Witnesses records will be in the store.
Shout out Jim Barron.
Shout out Jim Barron. Going to his house to watch Fast and the Furious 6 tomorrow.
Interesting. 6.
Yeah,
okay.
He's never seen him before. We watched 5 the other night.
Wait, are you watching them in like the order they came out, or like the actual timeline order?
We're watching the order they came out.
Okay.
Which I missed 1 through 5, or I've missed 1 through 4, but now I'm in for the rest of them. It's him and Dave and our friend Aaron, and I guess now his Jim Barron's child is watching this.
Yeah, congrats. That was very cool to see him posting.
She rocks, dude.
Yeah,
she's cool.
But that's awesome. I love Fast and Furious, because we talked about it. I can't remember what episode we talked about all that Fast and the Furious stuff, and then I went and watched the newest one, and everything, like all of our gripes were answered in like the newest one, which I was like, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about the new one. I still haven't seen 8, so I'm in right now with going over to Jim's and watching. We're gonna watch 6 tomorrow, and then soon we'll probably watch 7. Or if I can't make it, but I'm definitely making it for Hobbs and Shaw, and I'm definitely making it for 8 and 9.
Okay, Hobbs and Shaw. I
can't wait to see how bad it is. I've heard nothing but bad things.
It was an interesting spinoff, because like they're supposed to do more, but then obviously
it did so bad.
I don't know if it did bad. I
heard it did really bad.
There's just like all that drama with like The Rock and Vin Diesel, and like Vin Diesel's like the head of like, you know, like Fast and the Furious. So it's just like, I don't think they wanted it.
I heard that finally got squashed. I don't know if that's just
no. I think The Rock's supposed to come back.
Marketing.
No, I think The Rock's supposed to come back in like one of the Fast and the Furious.
I know, but I heard like the beef is squashed. It's not just he's coming back; it's that they're cool now.
Yeah, I feel like that's one way he would come back.
I can't tell if that's a marketing thing or.
I think we'll have to wait and see if they're on camera together, because there was all those, you know, the movie where they were in the same movie but never on screen together.
Together. Yeah, fucking weird. That one's still cool though.
100%.
But yeah. So the Two Witnesses records. Got new LDB shirts, domain shirts that'll be in the store soon. I'm trying to think of the next couple records. The Gates to Hell compilation record will be coming in the next few weeks.
They're on a crazy run.
Dude, they are on a crazy run, man.
Yeah, like I remember I did that podcast episode.
It sucks being in a band with
yeah, when I did an episode with Seth that never came out, and Seth mentioned like, yo, there's like a bunch of changes that have happened since we did that episode, and I'm like, sure, like changes, and then they just crazy on this busy doing such like so many cool things. Shout out to Gates to Hell. I'm so happy to see them constantly like touring and doing cool shit.
Yeah, no, it's a moving target for them. Like when all of their everything about them is like constantly in flux, it seems. Like their opportunities are just coming so fast for them that when they're taking things, like it's crazy. I've never seen things happen for a band because I mean, even Knocked Loose, like I knew them like I watched them as like little kids, and I met them like when they were growing up. But like I've been in bands with Dustin since he was 17 years old. I've been friends with Ryan since like longer than I've known the Knock kids. So like for me to watch friends of mine go through a whirlwind like this who I've known forever. I mean, I was one of the first people who ever talked to Seth. Like of the people in Gates and Constraint, I was the first one to talk to Seth at a show.
That's wild.
And they were 17 at the time, I think, wearing a Cro-Mag shirt at a show where Constraint covered Cro-Mags. And they were the only one who knew it, which was lucky for them.
For sure. Because it's weird when people do covers and like the people wearing the shirts aren't even reacting.
Yeah, it's fine if you're not. It's fine if maybe you're not that guy who goes off. But you know what? When you are that guy who goes off, and that's fucking rad. But yeah, so just to watch this all happen for them is so cool. But yeah, their compilation record should be coming in the next few weeks, which is their first 2 EPs on a 12-inch. That pop record we're doing for my friend Blake, BGFM, that'll be coming out in 4 or so weeks as well. Then the Weapon X 7-inch will be, I think, next.
Shout out Weapon X. Heading to Florida.
Playing FYA.
Yeah. You're very familiar with FS.
Dude, I'm considering going. I might try to go down with them to FYA.
You should. I'll be there.
I'll have another vacation I need to burn, and I don't think I'll be able to take it with Ashton. So, and I don't know if Inclination has any plans. So
I was gonna get to that. What's Harm's Way is going on tour?
Furnace Fest, and then who the fuck knows?
Wait, what? I thought that already happened. When is Furnace Fest?
It's in a few weeks.
I thought that already happened. Holy shit!
No, it's in a few weeks.
That is so crazy.
Yeah, and then Constraint's got a show with Magnitude and Morning at the Spinelli's that's having shows again. So that's all I got. I got 2 shows planned the rest of the year. 2 shows, 2 more of these podcasts. How's Hardcore Troubadour going? It's going cool. I can't remember if I've talked to you. We lost an episode.
Oh no, I haven't. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
We lost an episode. We did. We learned the hard way that you have to keep the episode on your drive until it's posted.
Nope.
He had been uploading it and then deleting it once it was uploaded, and we got flagged because it was the episode where we talked about Tom Petty.
Okay.
And he used the beginning of American Girl, and that shit got flagged, and it just got deleted.
By who? Where?
AI. I guess AI recognized that it was copyrighted music.
Where? Oh, but like what service?
I can't remember what service he uses, but
really, because I use, okay, and this is me peeling back the curtain. I for my intro outro, super copyrighted music. I guess
it's not as popular enough to get flagged by whatever AI they use to track this shit, but the beginning of American Girl is like unrecognized. Like everyone will recognize that. It's like the McDonald's of guitar riffs. So it got flagged, and we had to read. But here's the fuck thing: we'd already recorded the second part. So we had to go back and re-record the first part because we'd invested too much time to just scrap both episodes. If we had just lost one, we could have just redone it, but or just not done it, period. But we lost the first part after we'd recorded the second part.
That's rough. And it's frustrating too, because the thought of like, okay, like I'm like, you don't want to try to recreate a conversation. You just want to have a conversation. You're like, fuck, we've already done this. This is
I mean, luckily, like we had our notes, and I think I thought of a couple more embarrassing stories to tell about myself in that one that I didn't think of the first time we did it. So it ended up being fun. It ended up being fun because I was way more embarrassing on the second run than I was on the first. But yeah, no, it's going cool. It's fun. I don't really get too much feedback from it because Brian runs the socials, because I just don't have the social medias.
Yeah.
But we get lots of like responses from people who are into it, who are just like normal ass dudes.
That's
and
awesome.
Ladies. I think mostly dudes. I think mostly dudes are into podcasts.
Yeah, no. Whenever I look at my metrics, yeah, it's they're out there, but there's not as many.
Yeah, they're more of the population. We should maybe start figuring out how to appeal to women more in a way of making them feel invited. But at the same time, like I don't blame women for not wanting to listen to two dudes be stupid for an hour.
Yeah. No, I get it. But I'm to this day, I'm still humbled with anybody that listens to these conversations. Yeah,
it's very cool, especially people who don't know you.
You know, especially these ones. Like like the other day, someone asked me, they're like, what's up with Secret Invasion? And like I thought they were wanting to talk about the show, and I'm like, oh, like it was like whatever. And they're like, no, like you and Tyler. And I'm like, oh, I was like, that's funny that you asked. I was like, we're actually recording like this upcoming Monday. And it's just like, okay, like I know people like what we're doing, but yeah, but it just caught me by surprise because like I said, I thought they were wanting to talk to me about Secret Invasion, not like where the hell's the podcast episode.
Yeah, I mean, I get it though. Like whenever I listen to Axe to Grind, I'll always text Tom whenever I've got a chime in or a thought of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been binging the Every Movie is Good podcast that Joey Mora and Casey from Apex Predator do. And I've got to be getting on Joey's nerves with how often I'll text him being like, dude, I fucking love that movie too. Like, or just talk shit about it, whatever. I always feel like I'm bothering people with how often I'll just reach out and just bug you and text you. But then I'm like, you know what? I don't have social media. I don't really like if I'm texting you, you might be the only person I talk to that day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've kind of just it's like, all right, if I'm gonna bug, I'm just gonna bug. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Block my number or don't give me your number.
Yeah, straight up. Like my thing always is like, life is so fucking short. Like we should all be connecting with each other as much as we humanly can, because that's in the end, that's all that's going to matter is how often we connected with one another. Because once you're gone, the only thing there is your memories and shit, and fucking
we might not be gone.
You never know.
They're gonna take our brains, our memories. We're gonna be able to upload them to the cloud.
Or you'll be able to grab the hand and then talk to somebody and inhabit their body for a short period of time.
Oh, that's
just not longer than 90 seconds.
It is, yeah.
Scary. Dude, that shit was brutal. When the kid tried to gouge out his own eyeball, that was so fucked up.
When one of the more like creepy parts is when homeboy goes and sleeps at his girlfriend's friend's place, and he wakes up to her sucking on his toes, and was like, "What? Dude. What? That's so awkward." Because even for the girl sucking on his toes, for her to come out of that trance, it's just like, how do you explain that? Because obviously she was being possessed, and
dude, I was dying in the theater. I was dying. I was cracking up. I was losing my fucking mind. That part was so insane. Yeah. That was cool. The rock.
Shout out to the dad. The dad went through so much shit, and such a cool dad to put up with, like, not even put up with it, but just to, like, you know, let his daughter like kind of like be free, not be like overbearing, especially the shit that they went through, and for her to have like tried to kill him and for him to survive. Shout out that dad.
Yeah, that dude was the goat. Yeah, she was going through some things for sure.
Crazy. Yeah, I would never participate in something like that. If somebody busts out a hand like that, hey, like, we're gonna get possessed, I'm going home. You guys be safe.
Brother, I'm fucking straight edge. I don't need that. I'm fucking straight edge.
It's fucking, because I've played the Ouija board. Like I said, I've done that paranormal stuff, and it's like, it's crazy.
Dude, have I told you my Ouija board story?
No. Crazy. I want to hear it.
We so there was this punk house that 14 of our friends moved into at one point in time.
Jeez, rent was probably so cheap.
I want to say the person who paid the least paid less than $100, and the person who paid the most paid $200.
That is wild.
And the person who paid the most had a room the size of most high school classrooms.
That's a big room.
I believe it was a school classroom. It was in a nunnery. It was in like a nun convent, and the house had been actually split into 2 parts too. So there's even more of the house that they didn't rent out.
Okay.
Because they didn't have that much access. I think they didn't have that much access on the first and second floor, but there were 3 floors of the building and a basement. And so we, like, the first weekend that they were living there, we took a Ouija board and candles down into the very basement, into this like creepy little like boiler room area, and we did a Ouija board, and nothing happened. Like nothing worked, nothing moved. But we tried for a while, and then we were like, all right, well, it's just we're either not in on this enough to like make this happen, or it's just not here. Like whatever is happening, it's just not working. So we all go to sleep, and we all wake up in the middle of the night to someone running upstairs and being like, there's a leak. And we all ran downstairs, and we looked, and we saw water pouring on the first floor from the ceiling of the living room down to the floor of the living room, like a steady stream of water. And we're like, what the fuck? And then we went upstairs, and we found out that Jess, this kid who I'd been roommates with him before at another punk house, but he was like out of town for the weekend, so he wasn't in his room. So we busted his door open, and water was just dumping through his ceiling onto his floor. But because he wasn't there, no one was in that room to like catch it before it inevitably started leaking through into the other floor. So we go upstairs, and we see there's like the third floor had like the main bathroom with like bathroom stalls and like a big like walk-in shower. Like it was a nun convent, so it was made for like, you know, like 12 or 20 nuns to like live. So there's like multiple stalls. So there was a lot of water going through up there that was able to just flood down through. So we're like, fuck, that's fucking crazy. So we like spend all this time like cleaning shit up, and then the next morning when we wake up, we're like, God, that was fucking crazy that happened in the middle of the night. And then someone was like, I wonder if any of it leaked through to the basement. And we went down to the basement, and right where we were doing the Ouija board, there was a pool of water.
So it's coming from straight
the third floor all the way down to the basement.
Were you guys like being disrespectful, asking weird questions, or like, do you remember? Or?
I don't even remember. I just remember nothing really happened.
That's crazy.
But that water went from the third floor, a literal straight line from the top of the house all the way to the bottom where we were doing the Ouija board. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I've only done the Ouija board once, and I felt like I got away with nothing happening. So like, all right, I don't want to like press my luck and actually have something happen, so I'm never doing it again.
Fact.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, cool. Tried it, cool. Didn't work out. And you know what's funny is too, like it was like me and some friends, and we did it in my friend's driveway because he's like, I don't want this in my house. And I was like, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to push for you to do it in your house. I'm down to do it in the driveway. Maybe that's why we didn't get anything.
That's probably why.
Yeah, we were like outside in some driveway, but yeah.
Maybe if somebody had been hit in the driveway, you would have gotten something.
Yeah, but I'm not. Like Ouija boards, I ain't trying to do that. I'm not even trying to do anything. Like I'm like I said, I'm watching like this like Sam and Colby stuff, but there's like, I'm not gonna try to go visit any of these places, and I'm not gonna try to conjure anything up. I'm just enjoying it from afar.
Dude, I miss trespassing in old fucking shut down buildings, dude. We used to climb in, break into all kinds of factories and fucking warehouses and stuff when we were younger, and I don't see how we didn't get stabbed by homeless people. I know some girl got like her face whipped with a chain by a homeless person outside of a warehouse that we had just gone to like the week before that.
Damn, they're like aggressive like that.
Yeah, I mean you're kind of like in their home in a way, but I don't know. I miss those days, even though I just talked about somebody getting violently assaulted doing shit like that. It's still cool.
No, I get it. Like, younger, less responsibilities, didn't really care if you got in trouble.
Yeah, dude. Younger kids commit more crimes, straight up.
Yeah.
If you're not 18, commit crimes.
Yeah, you'll have some fun stories to tell when you're older.
You'll have fun stories to tell. I'm also convinced that if every kid who's like 17 and younger was out doing more graffiti and doing more crazy ass shit in the streets, this country might actually fund community centers and punk rock shows and art to an extent that would keep them from burning down cities, that maybe things would be cooler for all of us who can't afford to keep punk alive in our cities with the current rent that some of these buildings are trying to extract from people just to put on shows.
Yeah,
just a thought.
It's a struggle. That's why there's a new spot in Southern California, out in San Bernardino, called Baseline. I'm not sure who owns it. I know some of the dudes in this band from out here called Wig Splitter have a hand in it. So shout out to them for doing what they're doing, because they've been putting on a lot of shows awesome. Recently, and I've been there, and it's straight up DIY. It used to be like some like office, and it's really hot in there, so it's a mission to even just be at the show.
Tight.
But it's crazy because they have like a different way of moshing down there. Like they're like way more brutal, like a lot of people getting hit, which is it's just a different vibe, like versus like when I go to shows in LA or when I go to shows in Orange County. Like when you go down to San Bernardino and that Inland Empire area, it's a whole different vibe, but it's really cool down there.
That's awesome. I want to say, like, when I hear things like that, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. But then I'm like, dude, we fucking beat the shit out of each other in Louisville.
Mm-hmm. And the show that I went to, for as much ass beating as there was 0 fights.
Tight.
Yeah.
That fucking rocks.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, I'm stoked that Spinelli's is having shows again, because the one Constraint played on, it was like the 5th or 6th or 7th of July. It was right after July 4th, because we had a firework fight afterwards. Was cool. Oh my god, I just heard something rattle outside of this room, so I'm sure a cat just did something crazy.
Okay.
Tight. But yeah, I'm stoked that Spinelli's having shows again, just because we need a more DIY spot that's not as pro, because every band that comes through doesn't need to play a pro venue, man.
I get it.
Sometimes you just need to play a floor.
Yeah, and I feel like those are the more fun shows too.
Yeah, typically they're way more fun. When we went and saw me and Mo and Colin and AJ, who played Another Mistake, we went and saw Conservative Military Image in Nashville, and they played basically a floor, and it was just like a bunch of kids hanging off each other, singing along, and it was cool. It was awesome. It was one of my favorite shows I've been to recently.
Yeah, because I've been going to like a lot of like concerts recently, and it's just like
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's definitely not weird. It's like a whole different environment. I'm just like, wow, this is, it's like fun, but at the same time, I'd rather be at a hardcore show.
Yeah, always. Yeah, me and speaking of the Hardcore Troubadour, me and my dad and my buddy Scott, who used to book a lot of shows in Louisville, he's kind of he made Knocked Loose happen. He put Knocked Loose on like every show for like months until they had played in front of every able-bodied person who attended shows in Louisville, to the point where when Knocked Loose would play a show, all of those people from all of those walks would come and see them, and it was just off to the fucking races for them. But me, my dad, and Scott went to Owensboro, Kentucky to see Steve Earle, who me and Brian do the podcast about. And I mean, we had to sit in seats. It was cool, but I would have much rather been like standing up at the stage.
Yeah, I get it.
Being told where to sit at a show, nah, that sucks.
Yeah, and it's just like the energy is never matched.
No.
Shout out hardcore.
Hardcore rocks, dude. It ruins all of us. It ruins experiences for other things, because just it sets a bar. It sets a bar you can't meet. Just as a civilian.
True. Like the last like concert that I went to, like people were like lined up like 3 days before, and I had a buddy hit me up. He's like, "Hey, like, are we gonna go camp out?" I'm like, "No, I'm not a crazy person. I'm not gonna go camp out for a concert. I'm just gonna show up and figure it out."
Camping out, but you have tickets, right?
Yeah, but it's like a like the GA for the floor, so there's like no seating, so it's like, you know, so it's like you're at like a hardcore show kind of. It's just like you free roam, you know, you just get where you can go. But I was like standing next to people who were like camped out for like 3 days. I'm like, why did you camp out? I'm here. I just showed up.
I just showed up and we're standing in the same place.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, there's no way that I was ever gonna do that.
Yeah, man, I hear shit like that and I'm like, man, don't people have to go to work?
I don't think these might be like, I don't know. I don't think so.
I hate this, dude. This country fucking sucks. There are way too many motherfuckers working 2 and 3 jobs who can barely afford their rent, and then we got motherfuckers camping out for concerts who probably never have to work a goddamn day in their life. Fuck off.
They're privileged. Which,
God, I hate it, dude. I had to do an orientation with the dude who was getting a second job. His second job is at our place of business, and I just the whole time I was poisoning the well on him working there, because I was like, man, second job, that fucking sucks, man. You shouldn't have to have 2 jobs. That fucking sucks. Dude. I hope at some point you can figure out a way to have one job. If that's this job, cool. If that's not this job, probably better.
Dude, that's the weighs on you mentally. Like, I thought I'd be okay, because I used to work 2 jobs, like 2 full-time jobs, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, just as long as I had like my one day off from both jobs. I was like, yeah, like I'll be fine. But after doing it for like, I think like almost like 2 years, I didn't realize like how like bad it was for like my mental health.
Unless one of those jobs is hanging out, like, unless one of those jobs, and like also even then that becomes like, if say you got a job at like a tattoo shop on top of your regular job, and you're like, oh, but I hang out at the tattoo shop anyways. The dynamic shifts when it becomes somewhere you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people need more free time, man.
No, 100%.
All these machines, all these things that make our lives simpler, in fucking quotes, all these things that are supposed to make us more productive, and all it's led us to doing is just fucking working or sitting in our car on our way to work.
Once I've like quit the second job, and when I had like way more time to just live my life, I was just like, it was so insane to me, because at that point, like my whole like mind shift hit switch, right? I became like way more selfish with my time, which I feel like people should be in general anyways, because you don't know anybody's shit. But just to not have to go from job to job, and yeah, like the money was great, but to be able to go from like job to home and then do whatever I want and like have time and not stress about, oh shit, like we have to stay late at the second job, now I'm only going to have like an hour to eat and then I got to go straight to sleep to do it all over again. It was like, yeah, it was just crazy that I did that for so long.
Yeah, dude, it's madness. It sucks, because that time you're never going to get it back. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Sean Fain. He's the UAW president right now. I saw a video of him talking about, like, you know, because they might be gearing up for a strike soon. And he said, like, you know, I talk to people who are like at the end of their life, and none of them ever go, I wish I had worked more.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, you're going to wish you had more time with your family. You're going to wish you had more time with your friends. You're going to wish you saw more movies. You're going to wish you had more conversations, went to more concerts, went on vacation more. Like, you're going to wish you did all this shit. Like, everything we do that we think we're doing, like, to survive, the thing you got to do to survive more than anything is not kill yourself. Whether that's, you know, with an implement, or with, you know, just working yourself to death.
Yeah, like it's terrible because there's a lot of people who wake up in the morning or wake up whenever and have to go to work, and they hate their lives, and that shit is so sad. That, and even that, right? They go to these jobs and it's not even like a livable wage.
Well, and then you also have these motherfuckers who wake up like these grind set dudes who like wake up like ready to hit the grind and whatnot, and you're like, fuck, dude, like you spent your whole day like chasing paper. What is that really doing for you? Like these people who are doing like all this gig shit, which, I mean, given there's no better jobs to find either, but like all this gig economy shit, these people who've tricked you into like working this alienated service industry shit just fucking sucks, dude. I know we're at the end of the podcast and we're just getting fucking angsty and fucking about the world right now. But God, dude, I just like, we're talking about all the shit that we love doing, and it just always makes me think about like how many people don't have shit they love doing, period, or they miss out on so much of the opportunity to find hobbies or find passions or find things that like they actually care about, because they're just. And then at the end of the day, there's some people who are just real fucking dumb.
Yeah, that blows my mind more than anything. Like, how are you
have no wherewithal to see how fucking exploited and fucking ripped off they're being. What can you do?
Well, what we can do is just enjoy our time here, Tyler Short. Like I said,
fuck yes,
be selfish with your time. You don't know anybody's shit. Have fun. Go do things you've never done before. I'm looking.
People, but I mean, you say be selfish with your time. I mean, I say be selfish with your time when it comes to fucking work. When it comes to your friends, dude, and people are and someone's trying to pull you out of your routine, fucking let it happen sometimes, dude.
Let it happen. Yeah, go put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Sometimes it'll be a real big benefit for you to kind of like, just learn more about yourself.
Yeah. And learn more about your friends, man. Me and Jim Barron were up till 3:00 in the morning, pretty much the other day, just talking in his living room. And it was one of my favorite moments recently. Like outside of my relationship, in which, me and Ashton still yet to run out of a thing to talk about, like getting to spend that time with such a close friend, having a intimate conversation like we're having right now. It was awesome, dude. These things are rewarding. These conversations rock. I fucking missed you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I missed you too. That's why I look forward to these. That's why I always tell everybody these ones are always special to me, because we will chime in here or there, but when it's time for the podcast, I'm like, all right, cool. This is like the time where I get to talk to Tyler for a long time, and it's always good conversation. Yeah,
I never have a hard out for this. I'm down to talk as long as we've got something to talk about. It's cool.
For sure. Well, I do appreciate it. And like I said, we have 2 left. So it'll be a nice, send off in November with the Marvels, and then a little break again. And then we'll just, jump right back in the, early 2024 with the like later half of phase 5.
Yeah, dude, I'm interested in how it's going to end. I'm keeping my hopes up that it's coming up from where it is right now, because there's no way it can follow.
All right. Well, anything else before we go?
No, man. Just thank you for always being down to do this.
No problem. I appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody who reached out to me about when this episode was dropping. I hope you were all as satisfied as I am, because this is just as fun as it always is. So appreciate your time. We'll be back like mid-October for Loki season 2, or not even mid-October, maybe like late October, whenever that series finishes. We'll figure it out. But appreciate your time.
That's not too far from now.
No, not too far. Time is flying. The year's almost over. But yeah, appreciate your time. Be back soon. Thank you.